Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Bebe Kumi. And as you guys know, I'm the host Francesco, and on this podcast we talk about anything and everything that has to do with food and beverage. And today we have the man himself, the man that brews on the island. Oh yeah, the wrong one, man.
There we go. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and we had Jon Symonds here. And
Hi.
so man, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, man, doing fine. How is it these days?
Busy.
Busy. That's good. That's good. Good.
Busy's good. Yeah.
After like a lockdown, it sucks. Like it's good to be busy.
Yeah, my lockdown was busy as well.
Yeah.
So I was just brewing. And now I'm working in a venue as well
called
called Brooklyn, where I'm behind the bar and kind of, doing stuff. Doing stuff.
Yeah.
Selling alcohol.
Of course. That's good.
So yeah, it's even busier.
That's nice. That's nice. Just remember, guys, check Brooklyn out if you guys have a chance. And don't forget Tiki Mas, the best beer on the island.
Tiki Mas Serbes.
Tiki Mas Serbes, local craft brewery. So man, how's it going? Like I already said, from where are you?
Yeah, so I'm a long story. I was born in the UK, just outside London, in a place called Kingston upon Thames. My dad's English.
Okay. Yeah.
My mum's Dutch, and then when I was about 4, we moved to Holland. Mm-hmm. We lived in this tiny place called Bergambacht, which is near a river, but I don't remember. I was too young. And then we moved to Utrecht.
Okay.
Excuse me. And then, when I was about 11, we used to go to Portugal a lot on holiday.
Yeah, nice.
My parents bought a holiday house there when I was like 8 or something. And then when I was 11, we moved to Portugal.
Shit, nice, man.
Yeah. And then I lived there till I was 18, studied in the UK again in a university called Bangor, which I chose purely because of the name. And I studied zoology.
Zoology?
Yeah.
That's a long way, man, from zoo to beer.
Yeah, so I used to want to be Steve Irwin.
Okay, got you.
There's pictures of me in Portugal with like snakes climbing up trees and that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it was like, I'm going to be Steve Irwin. And then that never happened. And then, when I was about 15 or so, I started working in bars.
Oh, nice.
I worked in a beach bar.
Yeah. To get some money. And stuff.
Some pocket money to make sure I could go out at night because drinking age is 16 in Portugal.
Shit. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it was from like my 15th, I was always kind of in and around bars and I didn't have a clue back then. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And I remember one day we had some friends over from my parents' friends were on holiday and they're like, can you make a Bloody Mary? And I'm like, yes, this is my chance. And she said it was the worst Bloody Mary she'd ever drunk. And I was like, yes, I did it. Then I started kind of getting focused in like, why was it so terrible?
Yeah.
And you know, what flavors and how it works. And that's how the interest kind of became.
From there.
Yeah, a passion as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a hobby that's run out of control. So like the cocktail stuff as well. I have a bar in my living room, which is called Tiki Mas, which was kind of Polynesian-style tiki drinks through a couple of parties. And beer was always kind of in the background, wine as well. Mm-hmm. Growing up in Portugal, I think I had my first wine when I was like 14. It was like a normal thing.
Yeah.
So those flavors and that kind of stuff was always really interesting.
Yeah, I know. Like that's how we all start, man. Like not with the zoology, but we all start somewhere, like, you know. No, but that's cool. And how did you like came from going to the UK and then to Curacao? How did all that happen?
Yeah, so in the meantime, so I finished my study in the UK, and then I went back to Portugal for a couple of years.
Okay.
Because I didn't really know what to do, and like in the study I'd done. And especially the section I wanted to go into, which was more reptile-based and herpetology. Yeah. There's like 2 jobs for 100,000 people. It's crazy. And so, And a friend of mine, we were having a beer. All great stories start with having a beer. And he's like, yeah, man, I've just spent like a year in Australia. Why don't you come? I'm going again. So I ended up going to Australia for 6 months, and ended up being 3 years.
Shit.
Yeah, and then I lived I lived in Melbourne, which is for food and drink is, and I mean now even more Sydney as well.
Yeah,
is crazy for that kind of scene. So it kind of those interests kept piling up, and yeah. Then I went back. My visa ran out, so I had to
go back. Yeah,
I had to go back to Portugal, and then I saw an ad online for a supervisor position at Come.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. So that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Luke sent me a message, or I sent them an email, and Luke sent me a message back like, "Whoa, yeah, cool. Let's hook it up. Let's do it."
Yeah.
And yeah, that's that really.
Oh,
now I'm here.
Shit. No, man, Jesus. But the whole experience from Curacao, from the UK, from Curacao is a whole different like environment, a whole different scene. But how did you like find the transition? Like, how did you feel about it? Was it okay, or was it like a little hard?
So it's kind of weird. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, man. It's too cold?
No, I'm okay.
That's good. Cool.
Just not used to talking so much. The transition wasn't crazy. Like,
okay.
Portugal and here are very similar.
Okay. Yeah.
With kind of the climate, but also the way people are, and the language helps. It's I speak Portuguese, and it's kind of similar to Papiamento. Still can't. I can order a beer and a glass of wine.
Yeah,
I can get by. It's not like I can hold a conversation or
anything. No.
I get the gist of conversations and stuff, so that does help. But yeah, no, it wasn't too much of a shock. The biggest shock was like the Dutch culture.
Yeah.
Because it's very different to
Holland, or like
to like English, or even having lived in Australia and having traveled around a bit. It's very different.
Yeah.
And even to how the locals are. The locals are really friendly, and the Dutch are kind of like, sorry, but pichiti.
Just throw it out there, man. Just throw it out there.
Yeah. I don't care. I have a Dutch passport. It's fine. Yeah. So it's some are really generous, but most for my feeling are like, it's mine. Go away.
Yeah. Uptight.
Yeah, that's the word. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
And so that was kind of like the biggest shock, I guess. And then, I mean, there's a bit of American culture in here as well. And,
exactly.
And that's what you see within the local community a lot more. So it's a lot more generous and giving, a lot more interested in what's going on as well. And, I can't remember where I was going with this.
Yeah, no worries. But
and then obviously working at Come, you're into American-owned business.
Exactly.
And so that's like the first, like that wasn't such a massive transition, I guess.
Because you're a little used to it already.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But then outside of that, it was like, well, okay, this is a
What's
little bit
going
different to what I'm used to.
No, cool. So let's go back to like a little bartending. So in Portugal and then Lisbon and all those places, you worked as a bartender, like a normal bartender, or
so I worked in the Algarve we lived, which is right down south.
Okay.
It's about 2.5 hours on the train or drive from Lisbon. The area we're in, or my parents live in, is called the Golden Triangle, and it's very much focused on tourism. And so they've actually, I still have a lot of contact with people in Portugal in that region, and they've had a really tough time because all the flights have been cancelled.
Yeah.
Like no tourism, none from within Portugal itself. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, they've had it tough, but yeah, it's very, and I was young, man. I was like 16, 15, 16, going out every night, you know.
At that time, you could go out, drink, and go back to work in the morning like nothing happened.
Yeah, at one point I had like the beach bar I worked at was it was called Julius, and then I worked in another one which was Izzy's, which was right next door.
Yeah,
and like the owners were pretty chill, and so they were like, "Yeah, okay, we know that you're young and you work pretty hard, and so we kind of want to give you like the shift nobody wants, which was 12 to 8." So I'm like, hell yeah. I'll take that one. Nobody goes out early. It's like here.
Yeah.
Like everybody goes out 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock to go out.
Exactly.
And, you finish having dinner at like 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
And so that was quite easy to seg into here as well. But yeah, I was like 16. I was sleeping in, getting drunk the night before, sleeping in, turning up at work, like 12 o'clock, like, oh, yeah, just going to go for a swim, like, jump in the ocean, go to work, and then be done at like 8 o'clock, like meet friends, go out for dinner, and then...
The same thing over and over again, bro. Jesus. So, and then you came here, you're a bar supervisor or just a floor supervisor, were you?
So yeah, I started in Kome on the floor.
Okay.
Kind of supervising everything. I was kind of, Luke was bar manager, Niels was restaurant manager.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I was just kind of like the guy in between. So if there was any kind of shit that needed to get done, guess who did it?
You're the guy.
Yeah. So
that's nice.
But that was good. It was very different to what I'd done before. Mm-hmm. So I'd only worked in bars before. I run a bar program in Australia as well as in a new restaurant in Portugal when I came back after Australia.
That's nice.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. Luke left and opened Luke's cocktail bar.
Exactly.
Got promoted to bar manager or whatever. Like I'm not too massive on titles.
Yeah.
Like it's you work there and you do what you have to do, and then if there's any extras, you catch that up as well. If there's time, and
a little extra money.
Yeah. If you get paid a little bit more than the rest, then why not?
Yeah. That's cool.
And so I started doing the bar program at Kome. I took over, and that went okay. And then I worked there for 3 years, and it was just time to do something else. Yeah. So I did something else. And
then you went to?
So then I worked at Miles for a bit.
Yeah, Miles. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then that obviously stopped. But then in 2019, I started brewing beer at home.
Shit. Yeah, that's something, another story. Yeah. So before we get to the beer, on the last two episodes, whatever, the talk with Fabian, I talked with Fabian, and he's still holding a grudge against you on a competition. And yeah, man, I really want to know what happened there.
Yeah, I won.
Ooh.
I'm not sorry, Fabian. So there was... oh, God. Yeah, it was a Branzimex competition, was. And basically we got a brief, which was you have to use San Pellegrino soda in one of the cocktails.
Okay, yeah.
And you had to use, I think it was tequila in the other, but I'm not sure. No, you had to use Amstel Bright in the other cocktail. Okay. And so I was like, okay, everyone's going to do like a
beer garita or something like that. Yeah.
And 6 people did.
Including Fabian?
No.
Okay,
I can't actually, I feel really bad now because I don't remember what Fabian made. I was just kind of like winging it as I went along. And so like Luke was in the jury, Esther from Branzimex, and Tess Postumus. Yeah. She was here on the island. And it was good fun. Yeah. And so I made a jalapeno paloma.
Whoa, nice.
Which went quite well. I forgot the lime juice. Yeah. It was like the first competition that
you forgot the lime juice?
Yeah. But I've made my jalapeno syrup nice and spicy, so it wasn't needed as such. So yeah, that kind of helped. And then I did a twist on an air mail, which is rum, lime, honey. Rum, lime, sugar, mint, and champagne. Okay. And so I made a sugar syrup with Amstel Bright. Fuck, nice. And then I popped a bottle of champagne for 1 ounce, which also made it the most expensive cocktail of the day.
That's nice, man.
And then we lost the bottle of champagne. I don't know what happened.
Who drank it? Nobody knows.
It's like, I'll put it here and then I turn around and like, where is it going? So yeah, and I mean, it was there. They weren't very happy with me. But I double checked like 3 times. It was like, are you sure I can use your whole portfolio Like, are you seriously? Because I knew from like as soon as they said Amstel Bright, I'm like, okay, I have to do something
Crazy with this.
which is reminiscent of beer.
Yeah.
But Amstel Bright doesn't taste like much.
No.
And so it needs to be incorporated in a way, but it needs to be more interesting.
Exactly.
So yeah, I call it beer mail, which makes sense. And so yeah, I won.
Yeah. That's nice. That's nice. You won the other one too.
It was pretty close between Fabian and I,
Okay.
as far as what I heard.
Okay, that's nice.
And at this stage, I'd been on the island 8 months, but I hadn't done any paperwork. And so when I wasn't sure if I could go, and then I was just like, fuck it, I'll go.
Fuck it.
And then I almost got deported, which was fun. But that's all sorted now, so...
Yeah, it's over. It's legal.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and then there was another competition at Luke's, the chopped competition.
Yeah.
Which was like 3 rounds, so you got a mystery box, and yeah.
Yeah, who won again? Shit.
So that was 2 out of 2.
Yeah. And then we got another one.
Yeah. Well, no, there was another one in between, which was for Diplomatico, but my grandma passed, so I had to go to the funeral, so I couldn't win that one.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
No, but the guy who won that did something crazy with like mushroom infused rum, which sounded incredible.
It sounds something like I should try.
Yeah. So I probably wouldn't have got any fire in that. Anyway. Yeah, and then there was the Henry's one.
And then guess who won?
Yeah. Where's the microwave?
Yeah, where is it? Like what?
Yeah, so I like looking for kind of different techniques to get ingredients and to shine. And so I do a lot of stuff with like sous vide when I'm doing ingredients. I do a lot of vacuum stuff. I do a lot of microwave stuff.
Yeah.
And clarification and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've done like clear pina coladas.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is like blows people's minds.
Yeah.
They're like, what? How?
How does it taste like this? Like,
Why is this water? It tastes like pina colada. And a lot of that I do at home as well.
Yeah, you're just like experimenting and stuff. Yeah, that's nice, man. That's nice. But like we were talking about cocktails right now. So when you're creating a cocktail, how do you go about it? Like when you create a menu, when you create like.
Oh boy.
I just wanted to pick your brain for a minute, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So it really depends.
Okay. The concept, it depends what they want.
On the concept. And so, yeah. For Brooklyn, for example, the concept is it's a gastrobar with little bites, but obviously the name is Brooklyn, so it's New York inspired. And so there's so much great stuff coming out of New York.
Exactly.
And so the cocktail menu needs to kind of reflect this modernist New York drinks.
Exactly, yeah.
But we're in Curacao, so it needs to reflect Curacao as well.
As well, yeah.
And so I do...
It's not your day to talk, man.
I'm going to be quiet for the rest of the day. People order stuff like, No, I do... We do a Brooklyn Spritz, which is Aperol with mint and black pepper, but it's infused sous vide. We do which is kind of a secret tiki drink, but the hanging grapes, which is pisco and lemongrass gin. And the lemongrass gin we infuse ourselves. And there's some other stuff. Yeah. I see a nice bottle of Sir Edmund's gin.
Yeah, Sir Edmund's.
And which is really dope. And so we did a Floridora, which is a fairly classic cocktail.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then the twist is that we use Sir Edmund's. And that gives it that nice little vanilla kick.
Exactly.
And it's pink, and pink drinks always win.
Yeah.
So that's our biggest seller.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like raspberry, ginger ale.
And people were like,
lime, and they're like,
pink.
raspberry, oh my God.
It's pink.
Yeah. And so, and then we make a raspberry syrup, and the waste, basically after the syrup, we dehydrate. We still need to experiment a little bit more. Yeah. But we dehydrate the pits that are left over, which are still bright red, and there's still flavor, and we make a leather, and that will be the garnish.
That's
so we're not throwing anything away.
Trash tiki.
Yeah, that's another thing, which is why I'm actually
Wearing
wearing
the
this
t-shirt,
t-shirt.
yeah.
which is, I don't know, you can't see, but it's Trash Tiki.
Oh shit, that's nice, man.
Yeah, because I didn't do the washing, so I don't have any Tiki Mas t-shirts. So glamorous. Yeah, so it's that kind of stuff. We do a No Sleep Till Brooklyn, which is a twist on a Brooklyn, which is a twist on a Manhattan.
Okay.
And then again, we drink a lot of coffee as bartenders, and
We gotta keep our energy up, man.
yeah, and so there's spent coffee that we throw away normally, but it's an ingredient you can use.
Yeah.
So I do a coffee infused rye with the coffee you'd normally throw away.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just a little bit different.
You're always a little bit different.
Yeah.
In your cocktails. I'm not telling you personally, but yeah, in your cocktails. Shit. So, how did you talk about how Tiki Mas a little started, because 2019 you started with Tiki Mas, right?
No, yeah. So Tiki Mas has been around the cocktail bar.
No, but the beer.
Oh yeah,
The beer.
yeah. So Tiki Mas began in 2020. I want to say it's only been like a year, man.
It seems longer. It seems longer, man.
Yeah.
I think you're mistaking.
No, yeah. So I started brewing with two other guys, and we did the Islanders Brewing.
Okay, yeah.
And then I kind of branched out on my own, and I didn't have a name.
True.
So I'm thinking, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna call my brewery and like Bootleggers Brewing or whatever. Boy Palu, I don't know. It was all like, yeah. Oh, I had all these crazy names, and then Marilyn, my girlfriend, who also does the labels and like the Instagram stuff and the design work and the T-shirts, and she came up with a logo, and like without her, I'd be lost.
You're just a brewer without a name.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, but we have Tiki Mas. Why don't we just call it Tiki Mas Serbes?
Yeah.
And that's, funny, and people will enjoy it and get the link, and it's local. Because we're here, and we're not in, anywhere else in the world. And so it needs to be something that local people understand as well when they see it on the shelves.
That's nice, man. That's nice. So let me. Oh yeah,
cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. I started drinking without cheers.
So,
like fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let me open this up.
Yeah. Let's do it. Beer and rum.
Beer and rum. Why not? Let me pour a little for you first.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so this is a new one. This is actually the first time I've made this recipe. So I'm wondering what you think. It's an American blonde ale.
Okay.
So you have blonde ales like Leffe Blonde, that kind of stuff, out of Belgium.
Yes.
And they're way more malty and way more complex. And I wanted to create something which is like a lawnmower beer.
It's a little sweet. Yeah.
So it's a little sweet.
Yeah.
It has this malt called cookie malt, which is kind of like popcorny, biscuity. And it has Azaka as the hop, but it's like 5%, and it's just something that you should be able to tank all day.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that you can like sit on the beach and like drink like a case of this shit.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Buy my beer.
Buy more beer.
In large quantities. So yeah, I do a kettle sour, which I have to get brewing again.
Yeah, man, do you. Everybody's busy, no worries.
So yeah, I do a kettle sour, which is like between 3.5% to 4.5%. The grain bill is pretty simple. which now would be the magic of CGI.
Yeah.
So here we have.
I'm not that far yet, bro. I'm not that far in editing.
So it's like the base malt is barley.
Yeah.
2-row. You have 6-row as well, which is what like Budweiser uses.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
it's cheap and it's just sugar.
Cool.
So yeah, your grains you can see as sugar, and then it's the colors.
Sorry.
How long they've been toasted.
Yeah.
And that is basically like if you have white sugar or brown sugar or muscovado or like that's.
Oh, it depends on the sugar also. Okay, cool.
So
because you have like a roasted and then you have a lager, if not mistaken, and then
Yeah, you have lager or Pilsner malt,
Pilsner malt. Yeah.
which is like white sugar. There's hardly any color.
Okay. Yeah.
I use pale ale malt or brewer's malt, which
Okay.
is a little darker than Pilsner malt.
Mm-hmm.
But it's yeah, you can't see it. And yeah, it's just something that creates sugar, and you're pulling
Yeah.
sugar
Shut
out of the mash. And then so the cookie malt is burnt in a way which provides flavor,
Yeah.
but also a little bit of color. And so it's a light beer, very light beer.
Yeah.
But if this was just the brewer's malt, it'd be even lighter.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
So it also makes a difference, if I'm not mistaken, like the type of water you use, and
Yeah, there's so many factors.
Yeah.
If you're starting out brewing, the biggest thing you should concern yourself about is your grain.
that's it.
Yeah. The water here in Curacao we've blessed
Okay, I thought it sucked.
is because it's desalinized
Yeah.
seawater,
Yeah.
and then they add stuff into it to make it like a neutral flavor
Sure.
profile.
Exactly.
It's actually a neutral beer brewing profile, so it's perfect.
Oh, nice.
So the salt I now do salt additions,
Yeah.
but they're very minimal.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, that's something that's like you need to concern yourself
Later.
after, yeah.
Yeah. When you already
Just
started,
leave it to the side.
you just focus on your malt and
Focus on
your hops.
malts and your hops. I actually brought hops. So this is Simcoe.
It's not weed, people. It's not weed.
It smells like it. So yeah, as you can see on the packaging, like that's a hop vine.
Okay,
They're called.
yeah.
So these are actually pellets. They're called. So to get really technical, they're T90. T90 is pellets, and they look like this.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, if you smell it, smell the bag. Smell the bag, boy.
It smells nice.
Yeah, so this is Simcoe. Simcoe is a pretty standard, any American IPA that you get like a piney, danky kind of smell. It's this.
Okay.
If it smells like weed, it's this.
It's this. It's not weed.
Or
It's just that.
or it's like Citra or Cascade or a combination of those three.
But what's the main reason for hops? Why is it in their beer? It's.
Well,
I got you there.
here we go. No, so hops are flavor.
Yeah.
You can see it that way. But
Okay.
they're so much more than that. They're also antibacterial.
Okay.
So
It helps like preserve it.
it helps preserve the beer.
Okay.
So back hundreds and hundreds of years ago, before they realized that they could throw hop in beer, they used to make beer with all kinds of like weeds and stuff that you have growing around. And that style's called gruit.
Gruit?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's a beer without hop.
Okay, cool. Are they still making some?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'm actually, so I want to do like a Curacao beer.
Okay.
And I'm looking into how I can, which kind of
Grain?
local grains I can find, but also like herbs and spices and stuff I can find here
Nice.
because it's too warm to grow hop here.
Yeah, true.
Which I can put in the beer, which would then make it like a Curacao beer, which is a gruit basically.
Nice.
And then I cheated because you're also doing a beer course. So around 820 AD, because I know this figure, they started adding hops, and I think that was probably more of like a mistake. Someone picked some stuff, and they're like, "Oh, we have meadowwort and juniper, and we'll throw this in too." And then they threw in hop, and then they realized that the beer was actually they could keep it longer.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's kind of how hop kind of came into it. Hops are pretty integral in like IPAs, pale ales, but in fact they're in every beer.
Okay, yeah, just to help preserve it.
Yeah, and
more
also add
flavor.
a little flavor.
Yeah.
And so, like we were talking lagers just now, there's hop in there, but they're very neutral hops. And, and so, there's like old world hops, just like there's old world wine, and there's new world hops, just like the same with wine. Okay. And I guess that's kind of the easiest way to distinguish the two. Like old school wine is old world wine is very set in what they do and the flavors you get out of it.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
I need more beer.
Yeah. Drink your beer up, man.
And the New World hop, which Simcoe is one of them, is like really pungent in flavor and smell.
Gotcha. That's nice. Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So lagers have like a tiny bit of hop. My kettle sour, I mean, just to kind of give an idea, I think this is probably my hop load. No, it's a little bit more in my kettle sour in 40 liters. So it gives me...
That's all?
Yeah. It's a little bit more, actually. But it's like 20 grams or something in 40 liters. So it gives me an IBU, which is like a bitterness scale of like 6.
Okay.
So there's no bitterness whatsoever. This one is... let's just cheat. 26. So there's a little bit more hop in here. Gotcha. I just brewed an IPA yesterday. Yeah. Which had like 400 grams.
How much hops do you have for like sitting around?
Too many. Way too many.
Every pass by the brewery is like weed smell. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know. I store them at home.
Oh, okay.
So there's a room that smells like weed.
Oh,
I store them in a freezer at home.
Oh, okay.
It's the best way to preserve them.
And about your cereals, your grains. Well, what type of grains do you use for? I know you have different grains for different beers, but
yeah. So I use predominantly Brewers 2-row or pale malt as my base malt.
Okay.
That makes up probably like 60 to 70% of my beer.
Okay.
Probably more. Then for the kettle sour, I use a combination of like flaked wheat and acidulated malt, which is base malt, but with bacteria to make it sour. Just a tiny bit, and that helps with so mass pH is like critical.
Okay.
Temperature as well. So these are things you need to focus on when you're beginning. Is like your grains, your mash pH. You want it like between 5.2 and 5.6.
Okay.
And that just means optimal extraction of sugar.
Okay. Cool. Gotcha.
Any higher, and it's the enzymes in the yeast the enzymes in the grains itself are going to be like, nah, I'm not hungry. And then lower, they're like, nah, we're dying.
Okay.
Yeah, and then temperature is critical. You want it like between, I do Fahrenheit shit, 149 to 155, which is something like 68 to 72.5 or something Celsius. Okay. That's any higher, and you kill off your enzymes. Any lower, and they're like, nah.
They just like chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Like, no, we're not ready. So the sours, it's like it's a pretty simple grain bill. It's a little bit bready.
Okay.
At the back end. Yeah. But it's sour. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, but you get that sour, that little bitter taste. So.
Yeah, the bitterness is a little bit there, but it's predominantly the hop aroma you get. Okay. Which is something I wanted, because a sour it's maybe a bit scary for most people. I figured. So I did one with Sabro hop, which I don't have anymore, which is like pina colada in a bag.
The one milkshake? The milkshake?
No, yeah, there was a milkshake as well.
Oh, okay.
And it smells like pina colada. So they're like, oh, whoa, it's sweet. And then you drink it and it's a little bit sour. And it's like, oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, shit. Psych.
That too. This is the first batch of this, and it needs a bit of dry hopping, which is another technique. But I'm fairly happy.
It's really good. I like it. I'll drink this shit all day. But
which is good. And then I do pale ales, which are like maltier less bitter IPAs, I guess is the kind of best way to describe them.
Yeah.
IPAs, which are bitter, a little bit malty to counteract the bitterness.
Exactly.
Malty is sweetness,
Yeah.
sorry. But then, we're looking at more specialty grains. So we're talking like caramel grains. So you get
the taste.
Yeah, caramelly taste. And I'm a big fan of Victory malt, which is kind of like biscuity.
Okay.
It's delicious.
The one you use in here?
No.
Or there's another one?
Yeah, so it's another one. It's a little bit darker.
Okay.
And it's more biscuit. This is more popcorn.
Okay.
This is like buttered popcorn.
Yeah. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I smell it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We feel the rum.
Yeah.
And then I do a stout, which is like
dark beer. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually a really complicated recipe in a way. So you're using grains which have been burnt.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's the beer.
Yeah. So you're using grains which have been burnt. And when you burn stuff, you get like an acrid burnt coffee chocolate
flavor.
And if it's too much, it's just not nice.
Yeah.
And it's bitter in the wrong way.
Exactly.
So I'm actually updating my recipe a little bit. The next stout is going to be way more chocolate.
Okay.
I hope, touch wood. So it'd be like coffee chocolate stout. It'd be like decadent deliciousness.
Yeah, that would be like nice.
Yeah. And then I want to do like an imperial stout, which is basically a stout like turned up to 12, and it's usually around 11.5 to 12%, which isn't. Most people would be like, well, why are you making something like that? And
yeah. Try and kill people right now.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
But the thing with that is to get like this, because it needs to be thick as well.
Okay.
To get the thickness, you need to do a long boil.
Okay, yeah.
So normally I boil for like an hour.
Yeah.
And this thing will probably be boiling for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Which isn't fun because I don't have airco in the brewery.
It's gonna be hot.
It's already hot for an hour.
So your process, how do you go with it? So how do you start from where do you start and how does it end to the end product? So you go from like water and then you add your grains, your hops, and then your yeast. And how does it go?
I cheat. I downloaded
Oh my god.
Brewfather. Please pay me. So it's an app.
Okay,
It's super simple.
Oh, nice.
So these are all my recipes
Nice.
that I've ever developed or brewed or I'm thinking of brewing.
Yeah.
So I just, you click open, you go to Brewfather or whatever, and then you go new recipe, and then you can name it, and then you kind of go, okay, I can either choose a style I want to brew, or I'll see what I have on hand.
Okay.
And then I'll make a profile out of that, and then I see what style they recommend it will come out as.
Okay, cool.
And so if I'm brewing like a pale ale, I'm like, okay, I have this base malt, I do like 65% of that. I have the little bit of Victory malt and some caramel malt, we'll chuck in that.
Yeah.
At like 3 and 5% maybe, something like that. That doesn't make 100, I know. But you make 100.
Yeah.
So you do, was it 82% or 92% base malt, and then the rest 3 and 5. Victory and caramel malt, and then you kind of see what your
end product
is.
Yeah.
So you look at your style, but you also have to make sure you're within values.
Gotcha.
So something like that,
Okay. Cool.
If you do like 10 kilos of base malt, you end up with something that's like 6-7%.
Exactly.
You hope.
Nice. So, about now we went through the process that you cheat, and I hope you don't cheat on your competitions. But anyway, skip that.
Sore loser.
With your yeast, do you use different yeast, or what type of yeast do you use for your brewing?
Yeah. So
or is it like
in the beginning? There's so many different types of yeast. No, it's not a secret, and I don't think it should be. I haven't made a house yeast, so
Okay.
it can't be.
Yeah, okay.
There's so many different types of yeast, so it's very much dependent on what you wanna brew.
Okay.
And you have lager yeasts and pilsner yeasts, which are bottom fermenting yeasts.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
And they operate at lower temperatures, which is why it takes longer to ferment
Okay.
and longer to create a pilsner.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
So I tell a lot of people this, and they're like, "Yeah, but I thought that would be really quick."
No.
So, no, it takes like months, and like ales take like weeks.
Weeks. Okay.
The difference is crazy.
Because
so yeah,
ales, you use another type of yeast, right?
yeah. So ale yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae.
Yeah.
Is the beer yeast
Okay.
group, and then there's I can't remember the second Latin, the
Good.
third Latin name, but you have top fermenting and bottom fermenting.
Yeah, exactly.
Ales are top fermented, and you see that when it's fermenting, there's a layer of krausen on the top, and the yeast is active on the top.
Exactly.
You see like bubbling and stuff. You make mead and tapachi and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. It's all kind of top fermenting.
Got you.
And so I use 3 different types of yeast. This was the first one I made with SO4 from Safe Ale,
Okay.
which is a company in the States. SO4 is an English ale yeast.
Okay.
So you get kind of like stone fruity flavors.
Okay. Cool.
I use S5, SAF5, USO5, USO5.
Okay.
USO5, which is an American ale yeast,
Okay.
which is neutral in flavor.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
So I do my pale ale with that and my IPA, the last one I believe, because I wanted the hops and the malt to shine
Yes.
and not the yeast.
Got you. Nice.
And then I also have like a cheat yeast, which is actually gaining a lot of popularity at the moment. It's this Norwegian strain called Quake.
Okay.
Quake is, well, I can't call it a strain. Quake is Norwegian for yeast.
Oh.
And then it's named Voss Quake. And I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. But who
No worries
cares?
about nothing.
Sorry to any Norwegians. So Voss ferments optimally at 35 to 40 Celsius,
Okay.
which is for here.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
And then we're talking, so I brewed yesterday. That beer will probably be done. What's today? Thursday? Probably
Yeah.
be done Saturday.
Nice.
Because I've set it at, ambient temperature here. Actually, and the yeast likes to be stressed. So normally yeast you have to like coddle and be like they're little
Yeah.
babies. You have
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
like, really careful and like, oh, here, take some sugar. Oh, yeah. Oh, you want some oxygen? Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. And this yeast is like, give it to me. So the death metal of yeast.
So rough.
So like normally you have to kind of not over pitch, but you have to pitch a little bit more than enough.
Gotcha.
But this yeast is like, yeah, give me sugar. And so I underpitch always with this yeast. I never oxygenate, and like people are probably like, "What? Why?" This yeast loves it.
Oh, okay.
And it's done like you can do ales with this yeast in like grains of glass 5 days. People have done.
Yeah.
I don't push it that far. But
You
if
don't
needed
want to. You can.
I could. If production ever gets to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to pump out like beers
out of
5
crazy.
days,
Yeah. You're gonna do it.
then
It's like a
maybe.
it's like a fast yeast, like a fast, I would say.
Yeah.
Fast fermenting yeast.
Yeah, and it gives this nice. I kind of enjoy it, like a candied orange peel
Okay.
aroma.
Nice.
But that's usually once the glass is finished. So it's really weird. So it's whilst you're drinking the beer. So the sours are made with this yeast as well, because I wanted the citrus overlay.
Yeah.
So I normally do more citrusy hops, and there's lactobacillus has been in there, which makes it sour, which gives it more acidity, which gives it like a lemony kind of. So
taste.
I'm like, okay, yeah, like lemon, lime, orange, yeah, that's
Let's
cool.
get it. Yeah.
And that needs to be in there, and so that's kind of like the way I think about my sour. It needs to be like that. My pale ales and IPAs need to be a little bit more neutral, but the hops need to shine.
Yeah.
And usually when you drink pale ales and IPAs, it's kind of these hops and Cascade and Citra, and
Gotcha.
I did one with Mosaic, which gives it kind of stone fruity flavors.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, not stone fruit. Sorry.
Stone fruit.
No, not like peach. Like tropical flavors. That pale ale kind of smells like kiwi in a way, in a weird way, which is quite nice.
I didn't get that. But yeah. So.
Wait, I'll get some. No.
No. Let me see. So you're like we're getting way deep right now into.
Yeah, sorry.
No, so no worries, man. I like it too. I learned something, you know. So from what type of machine or what machinery or system do you use for your brewing? How does it go? How do you like go from like, you know, step by step, like because you have like expensive.
Yeah, so my parents were kind enough to invest in me, luckily. So I have a 3-vessel, 20-gallon SS Brewtech rims system, which is completely electric.
Nice.
And then RIMS stands for Recirculating Integrated Mash System.
Mouthful.
Yeah. It basically means that so the first thing you do when you start brewing is, so it's 3 vessels.
Yeah.
This helps.
Yeah.
1 vessel is purely for liquor, which is water in brewing terms. So this one, as I look at it, this one only ever touches water. Nothing else goes in here. So basically you bring up water to a certain volume, to a certain temperature.
Yeah.
That I transfer, and I don't know why I do this, because this would be the easier
Yeah, you go
option.
like boom, 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 yeah.
I transfer it to the mash tun.
You're so weird, bro.
Yeah, I know. And so I transfer it to the mash tun, and then make sure that the water in there is at
Temperature?
strike temperature.
Okay.
Which is usually something like 4 or 5 degrees Celsius higher than even higher than that. 10 degrees, say 10 degrees. Higher than the mash temperature you want.
Okay.
So you're adding grains, and that drops the temperature.
Okay, cool.
And then basically this, when it's in here mashing, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can just let it sit, stir every once in a while, and then the sugars get extracted.
Exactly.
With this rim system, it means it's coming out of its mouth through a pump into a little heating element. It's like actual size is probably about this.
Okay.
And it just means that it's recirculating the mash water
In there?
in there and making sure that the temperature stays the same as it goes around.
Nice.
And that's the rims.
Cool.
And then you also have something called herms, which is the same thing, except the wort doesn't touch a heating element but goes through hot water.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
So there's less chance of burning the wort.
Yeah.
But I haven't noticed any kind of issues. And then whilst it's doing this for like an hour or 75 minutes, it kind of depends what you're brewing. You fill this one up again with water, and that's your sparge water. And sparge water is basically the water you use to rinse once you start pulling it out into the boil kettle, what you use to rinse your grains of excess sugar.
Okay.
So nothing gets left behind.
Nice.
So in the beginning, like the mash, the water that comes out whilst you're doing this, in the beginning it's super dark, and then the end it's super light.
Okay, cool.
And then the lightness indicates that there's no more sugar left in your mash tun.
Nice. And at the end, what do you do with the leftover mash or
the leftover grains?
the grains?
I make dog biscuits, brew chews.
Yeah. Okay.
Get them, buy them.
Buy 'em.
Dogs love them.
Yeah. Or you can have it as a snack too. So it's your choice, you know.
Yeah, it's flour, egg, and peanut butter, so it should be fine.
Yeah, you won't die. No worries. No, cool, man. And that's the process. And then you go with the bottling. After that, it's like you need to add yeast.
Yeah, so then it boils for like an hour.
Yeah.
Depending on what beer, it kind of depends. So most of my stuff is an hour to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the kettle sours are like 15 minutes. Because I just want to kill whatever's in. Not that there's anything left.
Yeah, but you never know.
Yeah. And it's a light beer, so I don't want to boil too long or too hard or
Gotcha.
anything like that.
Cool.
Yeah, and then after that, so then you have to chill it down. So I have like a little machine. I have a piece of equipment called a plate chiller.
Okay.
Where you run tap water through.
To cool it down.
Yeah, and then in the opposite direction, it runs the boiling wort through. And then once that's done, you get to pitching temp, which is kind of, the temperature you want to add your yeast into.
Yeah.
I do usually go a little higher than what it should be.
Yeah.
And then it drops down naturally in the fridge or the fermentation vessel.
Gotcha.
And then depending on the yeast, it's done in like 10 days normally.
Yeah. Nice.
Around about, kind of depends. And depends on the time I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after that, we keg, we carbonate, and we package.
And then you get this beautiful bottle.
Yeah.
Shoot. That's nice, man. That's nice. That's fucking dope. That's cool. So, with Tiki Mas, how far do you think you're gonna be going if you want to tell us?
The world.
Oh my god. I want to conquer the world.
We're doing today, Pinky. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. So now it's 40 liters. Well, it's a little bit more than 40 liters at a go.
Yeah.
Which is a batch of like 106 bottles. Kind of depends.
Nice.
So we usually hit around the 100 mark. So I'm losing a little bit, which is probably me drinking it.
Or giving it for free.
Yeah. Or there's some losses somewhere along the way. So that's something I need to start looking into.
Yeah.
But the idea is to go bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of the idea now is maybe, hopefully next year, purchase a brew house, which is about 3 times the size as this one.
Yeah.
So go from the American term, so 10 gallon, which is 40 liters.
Yeah.
To 1 barrel, which is 120 liters.
Nice.
And once we're in the 1 barrel range, we can start, producing some cool stuff and some extra stuff.
That's nice.
And then, we can go from there. So then we're not doing 100 bottles, we're doing 300 or more, hopefully.
Yeah. By hand?
Well, I may need volunteers. But that's, in the beginning it will be by hand.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
I've looked at bottling machines and they're like a couple of $1,000. Yeah. So I'm like,
My hand works fine.
I'll sit through the finger pain.
Yeah.
The cramp.
You put it in heist and then you work. Yeah, man. No, that's cool. That's cool, man. Cool to hear and everything. And I hope everything picks up and this goes crazy. And I know you're busy with brewing almost every week. I know.
Yeah, so
not almost every week.
I brew Sundays and Mondays. And then during the week, if I can, I grab another day.
Okay.
I just had my second vaccine, which means I can start traveling. But Monday I was like knockout.
It hit you like
so kind of have to catch up somewhere along the way. So if there's a little shortage on beers in places, I'm sorry. We'll get back to regular programming soon. So I'm looking at like a double brew day.
Yeah.
Which is probably something along the lines of like 14 to 15 hours.
Oh,
wow. But it's got to happen.
Yeah.
And it's good. So if you want to help.
Yeah. I'll just let me know. Just let me know, man. No, that's cool. That's cool to hear. Yeah. So, do you after the brewing we talked about the you put them to chill and everything. How long do you let them mature? For
how old is this? So this was bottled the day before yesterday, but it had been sat for a little while.
Okay.
Usually not so long.
Okay.
So usually after the fermentation process is done, which is say 10 days.
Yeah.
We cold crash.
What's a cold crash?
Which basically means we bring it down from whatever temperature it's at.
Yeah.
So for this yeast, that was 20 Celsius.
Okay.
We bring it down to 4.
Cool.
And that just means that it clears everything out of suspension. So any proteins that are floating around in there, any kind of yeasty bits that are still kind of looking for sugars or whatever, it all drops out of suspension, and it should create a crystal clear beer.
Nice.
So with the sours, that's very evident.
Yeah.
Those beers pour clear or bright, as
Bright,
they say. And then with the IPAs and stuff, they pour a little bit more hazy, and that's I'm not too worried about it. Like the flavor's good.
Good, yeah.
Okay, the clarity isn't there, but am I gonna add gelatin or like finings, or am I just like this is the product and like suck
this
that?
is raw? Take it.
And this came out pretty clear. I'm pretty happy with this.
I like the color, so it's nice. And the flavor's fucking delicious.
It's kind of like half bright, I guess you would say, but it's not hazy. I do hazies as well, but bottles are so hazies are like hazy IPAs.
Yeah, you made one, right?
I've made a couple.
Okay.
Tropical Milkshake IPA, that was a hazy IPA. Or hazy IPA, New England style is another way of describing it.
Okay.
So with IPAs, you have your like traditional English, Burton upon Avon.
Okay.
So there's like English IPA. The water profile is linked to that river.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the river's hard, and the water of the river, and that makes it like the hops shine, and so it's bitter and in your face and dry, and you're like bum. And so like if you look at traditional styles, it's the town or region they came from is because the water there. So Pilsen water is quite soft.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which is why Pilsners are soft.
Makes
I know.
makes perfect sense.
And so it's kind of linked to that. And then American IPAs kind of took that.
Okay.
And they did like West Coast IPAs, California.
Yeah.
And like Russian River Brewing has Pliny the Elder, which is like the OG in your face. Those guys started as home brewers, and I saw the other day they have like a 500 barrel system. It's like ridiculous.
Sure.
They're like in your face, big, malty, dry, bitter beers. And then what started happening a couple of years ago is that in Vermont, which is now the New England area of the East Coast of the States, they started exploring like the other side qualities that hops have.
Okay.
So as you smell this, it's dual purpose. It says on the bag, aroma, citrus, and piney. And it is when you open the bag, it's very citrusy and it's very piney. And it's kind of like stepping into like a Christmas tree forest.
Exactly, yes.
But you have hops like El Dorado, Mosaic, Sabro, which I mentioned before, which are like super tropical fruits, like papaya, pineapple, coconut, mango, those kind of flavors.
Yeah.
And they were trying to look into how they could flavor that into their beer. And they're the kind of beers that at the moment are massively hyped. And
that's nice.
Probably no end coming to it, which is dope. I love doing it. I started doing cans because I wanted to do those beers.
Okay, gotcha. And then you changed to...
And then the can shortage hit. And then so bottles became the thing, and they don't last as long in bottles. And so it's something we'll probably go back to.
Okay. But the bottles are cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're really cool, man. Really cool.
Yeah, and those beers kind of look like orange juice.
Yeah.
I guess. So and that's because there's tons of protein floating around.
Yeah.
So they're like the base malt is like base malt, tons of oats, as in like oats you can eat, flaked oat or oat malt or whatever. Flaked wheat is in there as well, and it just and it adds these layers of like
flavors and
and like pillowy softness when you drink it, and so you're kind of playing on the mouthfeel side of the beer, and you're adding like some of these hopping techniques are insane. The pillow talk one I did, Sorry, I had to think.
Yeah.
Pillow talk one I did. We dry hops, which is when you add hops during fermentation or after in the fermentation side.
Okay.
For whatever reason, they're called dry hopping, even though you're adding it into liquid.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's cool. Whatever.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, we did something like 10 grams a liter.
Yeah.
9.5 grams a liter on a batch that was 45 liters. No, a little bit more, 50 liters.
Sure.
So we're like that. You're pushing the boundaries.
Boundaries here, yeah. That's cool.
And the fermenter was also kind of like, what the hell are you doing? But it also leads to bigger losses because it's dry and so it absorbs like crazy.
Fuck, man.
And then the tropical milkshake one we did was with lactose added, which gives it an even thicker mouthfeel.
That's nice, man. That's nice.
One day.
So, man, thank you very much for being here and giving us a little of your knowledge about beer and brewing and all those stuff and how you won Fabian competitions. But yeah.
Sorry, I don't know that guy.
You don't know? Nah, man, sorry. Me neither. So whatever. So, man, thank you very much for being on this episode of Bebe Kumi. So, guys, so anything else you want to add? Where can they contact if you have any questions about your beer or about the product or anything else?
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm sorry we had to do it at this kind of early hour.
No, we drink
rum and coffee is cool.
Yeah, no worries.
Rum for breakfast. So the beers Tiki Mas Serbes is available at Esperamos Krakensbijweg, the marketplace at Hofficaskora, Survey Frère, also on the Krakensbijweg, at Brooklyn, at Roast, at Bij Blauw, and soon some more places. Yeah.
Nice.
If you see me running around stressed, it's because
more places.
Buy me a beer.
And yeah, if you guys want to see him anywhere in the bar, just go to Brooklyn and you'll find him behind the bar, I think.
Yeah, Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn's open from 12 o'clock Tuesday through Saturday. So we do lunch, we do dinner, we do day drinking. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, just like us.
Time.
Yeah, drink beer around 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. No worries. No, nice, man. Thank you very much. Thank you for the knowledge.
Thank you for having me, man.
No worries, man. No worries. So, everybody, thank you for joining us on this episode of Bebe Kumi. And I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.